no doubt about it, Arsenal will be richer and better for the experience of the last year, as hard as it was to take at the time. Arsenal have the momentum with them. They have great belief. But, so does City. And Liverpool have to get back into the game immediately. And it's impossible to look at what fixtures are left and say, well, that's going to be an easy one and that one. Someone could get sent off. Someone, could referee make some bad decisions on the day. Anything can happen in football. So you'd be a brave man to say that with 7 games to go, who's going to win the league? But they're all believing. It's a normal reaction for Liverpool supporters to feel that, we've blown it. I don't see it like that. It's still very much game on. For City, they've got that inner belief because they are the current champions and I've won it the last 3 years, so they've got a tremendous belief about them. And right now, Arsenal have that belief, and you can hear that from their supporters.
Do you think the fixtures? I mean, I think it's probably undoubtable that Arsenal have got the most difficult run in. If you look at the games that they've got left, they've got to play in amongst the 7. They've got to play Villa, Chelsea, Spurs, and United. Whereas Liverpool have got to play Villa and Spurs. I'm not suggesting that Wolverhampton Wanderers and Fulham and Everton are not games that are going to be challenging, but on paper you'd expect them to win. And then City have got Spurs amongst their group of players.
But Arsenal have been good in the league, though, Simon, against the big guns. They haven't lost to City or Liverpool.
I'm asking Graeme, does he think that ultimately playing the bigger sides are going to make it?
I can tell you, the pros don't see it like that.
That's what I'm asking you.
They don't see it like that. They'll look as far as the next game, and that's how you have to approach it. And the lesser games you think on paper can turn out to be the most difficult ones. So you treat each game as it comes along, and it's boring, and you'll hear every pro say it. The next game is the only game that matters. The next one is the important one. And then after that, let's see where we are. And then after that, next one, let's see where we are. The next game is the priority.
Yeah.
Don't be looking, you could be out of it by the time Arsenal go to Spurs. They could have lost a couple of. Just the next game has to be taken care of.
I mean, typically there are those out there who want to see Arsenal mess up again. There's Jason and Brian. It's going to be hilarious when Arsenal crash again. At the moment, I can't see where the crash is going to happen, Simon.
Well, look, I mean, you have circumstances that can unfold. They could get knocked out of the Champions League by Bayern, and they could reel away from that. They could lose a key player. Saka he's played a lot of games. He could get injured. Declan Rice could get injured, and they could lose some balance. I don't think that's gonna. I don't think that will happen. But you can price those into your thinking. Listen. Arsenal fans are happy because they've listened to people repeatedly say that their side bottled it last year. And they didn't lose the league because they lost to City twice in a fortnight. It wasn't a fortnight. The point is they lost it because they dropped points in games like West Ham and Southampton and other teams that they shouldn't have dropped points in. That's why people accuse them of bottling it. And it's a fair assessment. So now Arsenal fans are seeing a side that's at it and on it and across it. They weren't great against Porto in the Champions League. They got through that, huffed and puffed their way through that. So they can be stopped. They can be made to look like a side that can't just cut through anything, because Porto did that to them.
None of the guys who are involved in this out of 3 teams would be happy if you said, well, if you lose a game, say in the Champions League or in Liverpool's case against Atlanta, that would impact them going forward. I would hate that to be said about me. The players I played with not have accepted that. I think what is a bigger worry, you get hamstring, you get injuries to key men. That's a bigger thing.
Yeah.
Not that you lose a game, you don't. Big players bounce back immediately.
Yeah.
They hate that feeling of losing. So that, they go to bed, it keeps them awake. They wake up, they want to play the next day.
I know you've got your Liverpool hat on, but I'll still ask you, is Arsenal winning it the best story of the lot? Of the 3 of them, Arsenal winning it. Is that the story?
No, it's not about a story. The team that wins it deserves to win it. End of. There's no luck involved in winning the league.
But breaking the duopoly.
No, I'm not interested in it. There's no Liverpool won it once in the last 30 years or something.
Yeah.
So there's no better story for me. I know how difficult it is to win the league. You win the league, you deserve it. It's not because you've been luckier than anyone else. You've been better than them over a difficult 9 months.
I'll put it out there. I mean, I don't know what you think, Simon. I think it might be flat if City win it. Anyone who's not a Manchester City fan will think, City again.
Well, it'll feed the underlying narrative that you've got a monopoly on the Premier League, and is that a good thing? It's interesting you talk about big players, because I would suggest to you, how many of those Arsenal players are big players? Big players are ones that you became a big player by winning things. They haven't won anything yet. So when you talk about and you scoff at the idea that they won't fall at the narrative, they won't fall.
Any player wouldn't accept that you lose a game and it impacts you going forward.
I'm not saying that
the
it would,
rest of the
but
competition.
psychological impact isn't something you embrace. Sometimes it's something that happens.
I'm a great, and I'll never get fed up talking about it because I've been part of dressing rooms. I was lucky enough to have that at Glasgow Rangers when I was a manager. But I've been part of a dressing room where it was all the senior players were the catalysts. They carried the lesser lights through the difficult moments.
Because they'd won things previously.
Well, that's
Who did that at Rangers? Butcher and you?
Oh, I had Mark Haitley, I had Goffey, I had Ray Wilkins, I had Butcher. I had some serious men.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.